Welcome to the February 19th meeting of the Lyman Planning Board. This meeting will come to order. This is a public proceeding, and unless the board specifically goes into executive session, you have the right to hear everything that is said and to look at all exhibits that are offered. If the board votes to go into executive session, the reasons shall be stated. Please notify the board chair if you're having difficulty seeing or hearing. This meeting is being digitally recorded and broadcast on YouTube. In each instance, the burden of proof is upon the applicant to demonstrate compliance with the provisions of the applicable ordinance or ordinances. After the board has voted on the merits of each project, they will prepare a written opinion which will be forwarded within 7 days. The board works from a prepared agenda and will be considering this meeting's items in the following order. Roll call, regular business meeting, which will contain the Bunganut Town Park Committee, bylaws, mission statements, and administrating policies reviews. Set the agenda for the public hearing and meeting on March 5th, 2025. Review the minutes. Old business, if any, Carlisle Brook Estates, map 4, lot 22. Daniel Marcotte, 135 Shore Road. Jenna Salvos, 549 Clarkswoods Road. Harper Residential Subdivision. I invite you to join me in saluting the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, can we have a roll call starting on my left?
Kevin Vera, 64 Bunganut Pond Road.
Cecile Dupuy, 53 Chapel Shores Road.
Kelly Demers, 10 Partridge Way.
William Single, 8 Single Lane.
Tim Rivard, 251 Poor Farm Road.
All right, fantastic. We do have a quorum, and we'd also like to invite all the millions of viewers that we still have 2 positions for alternates on the planning board. So if you are interested in serving this wonderful community, please fill out an application. Okay, start off business with Bunganut Town Park Committee for the Access Ramp Committee.
Yes, Mr. Chair, ask for a vote to recuse myself from this item, as I will be the presenter.
You had recused yourself last time, so I believe it carries forward.
Okay.
So please present the Bunganut Committee's, Town Park Committee's presentation.
All right. On behalf of the Bunganut Park Committee and the Town of Lyman, we are looking to, as previously stated, install 3 ramps within the town park property. These ramps were acquired via a grant, so there's no cost to the taxpayers. The idea for these ramps is to make the access to the lake safer, since the entire shoreline is extremely rough, loose, rocky, and otherwise unsafe. It's also steep. Areas currently being accessed to the water are very eroded due to the foot traffic, and we're looking to improve that access for the general public in a year-round fashion via these ramps to get into the sandy beach area in the summertime, and in the wintertime, allowing ice fishermen and ice skaters to get down to the lake, which is lowered in the fall to help prevent erosion over the wintertime. And this is I guess we're going to be the guinea pigs for the new permanent dock application, which is what this application is, developed by our exquisite CEO. So I guess tonight we're looking for a review to see if the application is complete, and if you have any other questions questions.
Any questions from the board? I have one for Rebecca.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this and I love this idea. I am not seeing a dock. I'm seeing ramps on our ordinance. Are you aware that we have any ordinance for ramps? Because these, I'm also seeing connector hinge per manufacturer specification. Being a hinge, it is theoretically removable portion that would enter the water.
I think it's gonna be under other structure. In
Okay.
the ordinance, it says other structure, so this falls under that.
And the platform would classify it as another structure in it. I'm just trying to get this through for you guys. Wow. Checking off all the boxes.
Yes.
I think it's a wonderful idea. One concern I have is when you're saying ADA. How can you guarantee that ramp's ADA compliant?
It's not going to be fully ADA compliant due to the slope.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I suspect it wouldn't because you'd have to go out 40 feet.
Exactly.
So it's
Yeah.
ADA width, but
Yes.
not
I mean, it's
necessarily
somebody-
wheelchair accessible.
somebody has like a powered wheelchair that can handle
That incline.
steep ramps. Yes. I wouldn't recommend a powered wheelchair into the water, but
It's partial.
yeah. And the ramps were acquired through a elder-friendly grant. So this is geared more towards allowing our elderly citizens safer
Yeah.
access to the water.
I fully concur. Okay.
Did DEP give any explanation if it had to be removable or could be permanent?
The DEP permit is ongoing. That's being handled by our town manager and select board liaison to the Bugnut Park Committee, Dave Alves.
And I do see that the DEP does not have any issues by Exhibit A with us having 3 of these units because of the amount of linear footage of water frontage we have. Okay. Planning board use. In
Yeah,
there.
so they're not saying anything whether it has to be permanent or removable at all. So if they're not saying anything, I wouldn't ask. I'm familiar with this gentleman. I've dealt with him a few times. They are super shorthanded, super.
Okay, for the planning board, this applicant. Let's go over the planning board, which is stated to the application. The proposed construction or alteration of the structure shall comply with the provisions of 2021 International Building Code, the Town of Lyman zoning ordinance, or with a decision rendered by the zoning board of appeals or the planning board when applicable. The applicant shall have the burden of providing that the proposed land use activity is in conformity with the proposed purposes and provisions of this ordinance. After the submission of the completed application to the planning board, the board shall approve the applicant or approve with conditions. If it makes a positive finding based on the information presented that the proposed use, number 1, will maintain safe and healthful conditions. Now, description of proposed construction. Actually, let me backtrack. And this was attached to the application, the description of the proposed construction. The town of Lyman wishes to install 3 ramp structures spread out along the shoreline of its town park on Bugnut Pond for the public use year-round. These ramps were obtained in their entirety thanks to the Public Grants Award, elder-friendly improvements for public spaces. The ramp's structure will consist of 4x4 aluminum platforms with handrails on 2 sides that will be anchored and level to the shore, above the high water mark. Using pipe rods, no concrete or other fill will be used along the shore. Attached to each platform with a manufactured specific hinge system will be a 4x16 aluminum ramp with handrails on two sides. This ramp will slope downward from the platform to below the normal high water mark and set on the sandy portion of the lake bed. Generally, the ramps will not be fully ADA compliant due to the elevation drop. ADA requires a 12-to-1 mark slope, which means the maximum drop of 16 inches, a maximum of 16 inches drop to be compliant. The reason why temporary docks are not feasible. The town park property is for the public use and enjoyment year-round. Due to the natural formation of the lake itself, the entire 2,800 feet of the town-owned shoreline consists of generally steep, rocky, loose, and eroded conditions along the normal high water mark of the lake, with the eroded sand generally spread out from the bottom of the shoreline embankment. In the late fall and wintertime, the lake level is lowered at the outlet dam by the opening of the spillway in order for the ice fishermen, ice skaters, and other members of the public to reach the lower frozen lake bed. They have to descend the steep rocky shoreline, which is not safe to traverse without the use of ramp, steps, or other structures. Leaving these ramps in place beyond the 7-month maximum limit of a temporary structure allows the public multiple safe access points to the lake year-round. Shoreline application instruction from page 2. Here's number 4 from the instructions. Number 4, request when applicable. If the property is not served by a public water sewer, a valid pump, it's not applicable as there's no sewer. And number 6 is also not named certificate of excavator or contractor. Is not applicable. No soil disturbance, excavation, or fill is proposed. If there's any collateral disturbance, the to be determined contractor will be responsible for the repair with erosion control mix or other approved methods. And then they've doubled up on a couple of these. So we'll go back to where I was, and where the applicant should have the burden proving that the proposed land use activity is in conformity with the purposes and provisions of the ordinance after the submission of the completed application to the planning board. The board shall approve the application or approve the condition if it makes positive finding based on the information presented that the proposed use, number 1, will maintain safe and healthful conditions. Their response, will maintain healthful conditions. Installation of the ramp will improve public safety along the town park shoreline by providing a safer ingress egress points to the lake along the rocky, steep, and generally unstable shoreline. Number 2, did we want to vote on each one of these individuals? No.
Should we? I think we should, right?
Tim?
It's new, it's.
It's no, but usually each point, I mean,
Yeah, just
in case one doesn't,
Mhm.
one
one
fails,
doesn't.
then
So
it would be incomplete. Right?
I'll entertain a motion that the applicant fulfills the criteria for number 1.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, second, any discussion? All in favor of the correct applicant meets 1? Approved. Will not result in water pollution, erosion, or sedimentation to water surfaces. Their response, installation of the ramps will provide for the opportunity to install permanent erosion control measures, erosion control, mixed native planting, etc., to reduce erosion and pollution along the shoreline.
I move that the applicant meets condition number 2.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor of the applicant meets number 2? Approved. Number 3, will adequately provide for the disposal of all wastewater. Their response is it is not applicable. nothing, there should be nothing going on for waste disposal at the waterfront edge.
Doesn't apply.
Second,
Any discussion that this does not apply? All in favor?
Aye.
Number 4, will not have an adverse impact on spawning grounds, fish, aquatic life, bird, or other wildlife habitat. Their response: the ramps have been made by non-corrosive and non-rusting aluminum and will be installed to existing public water access points along the shoreline that contain no spawning, nesting, or other fish or wildlife habitats. And it'll help prevent erosion and disturbance of the areas by channeling access to these 3 points. So I will make a motion that the applicant meets the criteria for number 4.
second,
Bill seconds, any discussion? Any, all in favor?
Aye.
It's a vote. Number 5. Will conserve shore cover and visual, as well as actual points of access to inland waters. Their response: these ramps will essentially upgrade existing water access points to the public in a safe and more organized manner. Do I have a motion that they,
So moved.
second,
we have a motion, a second, any discussion that they meet the criteria for number 5?
Aye.
Approved. Number 6, will protect archaeological and historical resources as designated in the comprehensive plan. Their response: not applicable, requesting a waiver.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a motion that they meet criteria 6 for a waiver?
Yep.
Was that a second?
Yeah.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Waiver granted. Number 7, will avoid problems associated with floodplain development and use. And they are requesting a waiver because they are not
I'm in the floodplain.
technically, yeah, but
Aye. I move condition number 7 is satisfied.
I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 7. Number 8 is in conformance with the provisions of section 15 of the land use standards. Their response: the ramps met the criteria in section 15B6 of the Town of Lyman Shoreland zoning ordinance for the installation of stairs or other structures for the access over steep slopes or unstable soils. All provisions of the section 15 are met, including the following highlighted points: no vegetation will be disturbed or removed. No excavation, fill, or other soil disturbance is proposed. Contractor will be required to follow all erosion and sediment control regulations for shoreline zone. Not only are they improving the area, they are helping to protect the area by the single point accesses. So I'll make a motion that the applicant meets the criteria for number 8.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Here. All right. With that said, I believe we move to the vote.
to approve the application,
To approve the application, public, this is our first time dealing with this, so it's all new to us.
I make a motion that the application should be approved.
We got a motion for the approval of the application. Do we have a second?
Second?
Second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Date of 02/19/2025, the application is approved. For the following conditions, if any determined by the planning board are approved with the application, we are not suggesting any conditions. Nope, I don't think so. I think they've done a fine job of coming up with a very good plan based on what we have. I think it's going to serve the
I
public
think it's
very
gonna
well.
Protect the shoreline a lot, so that's gonna make a big difference.
And As noted in the documentation, any person aggrieved by this decision can appeal to the zoning board of appeals within 30 days pursuant to the Town of Lyman Shoreline zoning ordinance as amended November 6, 2024, section 16H, appeals. With that, I'll sign this and you guys are approved.
One caveat to that is a public hearing is required.
But this is for the, yes, this is for the approval of the application.
Mhm.
So approve the application. We're not doing any of them.
To approve the application.
The application is approved.
Yep.
That was in the official stuff. Sure that
We'll
goes.
set up a public hearing.
Yes. When do we want to set up a public hearing?
Before we approve the application. I just can't see the sequence is out of whack.
It's different.
Why would we be doing the public hearing after we approve the
The
application?
application is complete.
It's not well outlined in the shoreline zone ordinance
Yeah,
like site plan reviews are. So it's, yes, it is odd and out of whack. I think what I can do is, if it will help, I can draw up a permit for you to vote on for after your public hearing. Then you'll have some sort of a document, not a notice of decision per se, but some sort of a doc permit that you can sign with that. I think that might help, then it won't be as out of whack, because you'll go from approving the application as complete and ready to go to have your public hearing to, okay, this is now permitted.
We need
Right.
14 or 20 days for public hearing.
No, a week, isn't it? I mean.
Just saw that.
I think it's
it has to
20.
be, right,
20.
it's-
I
think it's 20.
Handy dandy
In our
chart.
bylaw.
Thank
thing,
you, Dawn.
Our bylaw packet
Yeah.
that we're supposed to review.
Yeah.
Public hearing, on the site plan review application, within 45 days that the application was complete. Notify CEO, select board, ZBA 20 days in advance. If we had it on the March 19th, that gives 28 days. So we could have it on March 19th.
maybe spring will spring.
Let's have the public hearing on March 19th.
March 19th.
I think we're all set.
5:30 again.
Mhm. There's 2 public hearings in a row. Thanks, Kevin.
Be two that night?
2 in a row,
Oh, two.
the 5th and the 19th.
All right.
Very good.
We will see you on the 19th.
Thank you very much.
Now get back to work.
Yeah. Hustle.
Change hats.
Chop, chop.
Do you want this copy now that this has been,
I think I still have to
Approved.
sign that one too.
Kevin's gonna sign it,
oh, that signature about, yeah, you guys sign that.
and then I'll take it.
Okay, next we have review the bylaws, mission statements, and administrative policies. So, bylaws.
And I know we did it when Don was here and he typed them all up for us nice and neatly.
Mm-hmm.
We reviewed them and talked about them,
Yeah, the last one was November 2023.
but they never got any farther than reviewing them and talking about them.
Do you remember, did he highlight anything that was under discussion?
The bylaws got voted in, Rod signed them,
Right.
they got posted in November of
November 1st.
23. If they were not reviewed in 24 when the new officers took over, I think that if you wanted to keep them as they were, that you would just have to change the date
Right.
and the name of the new chair and sign them. That is my belief, but I'm not 100% sure because
Yeah, this is just administrative work. and,
I'm not Dawn.
I did, and for whatever reason, my revisions, changes didn't show up on the copy that I made myself. The one I can remember is on 1-1.4, under general provisions, page 1, second paragraph. Board members subject to bias allegations may choose to recuse him/herself. I propose that we change it to recuse themselves, all inclusive. Sound good?
Themself?
Themselves.
Okay.
That way we leave out pronouns and all that other good stuff.
Okay.
Any discussion?
Right.
I'm fine with that.
Sounds good? Okay. I don't even think we need to take a vote on that. It's just clerical.
If you all agree with that, then that's fine. We
Okay.
can change
All in
that.
favor? Aye.
All right.
Opposed?
Aye.
Revisions?
We'll change.
There was something that I saw, I thought I marked it.
There was a couple of,
One of them was about the modifications to, changes to the zoning ordinances. Where did I see that?
oh, there was something that came up in,
Oh, yes, attachment 3. Attachment 3, number 3. Public hearings on contract zoning. We don't have contract zoning anymore.
Where are you?
Attachment 3,
Page 9.
page 9, yeah.
Here we are. Attachment.
And number 3,
You need to take that out.
so I guess that whole paragraph would go away.
Mm,
Yeah.
And then on number 4, that doesn't apply to us anymore either. Because we don't make changes to the zoning board, to the ordinances,
yes, we do.
not according to the charter.
Uh,
The zoning board, the ordinance review committee makes the changes, and the select board.
ooh. No. Where is my charter? Because actually
London Charter, section 3.15.
if you look at it, here's the charter. That's the comprehensive plan.
Let's see that second.
Meetings.
3.15.
In Town of Lyman 2019 Comprehensive Plan, page 3, develop zoning amendments to allow for small businesses. Anything with zoning. Principal author is planning board, then it goes to ordinance review committee. Order of precedence.
By majority vote of the planning board, may present a proposal for any new revisions or revocations of town ordinance to the ordinance review committee. The ordinance review, this is in the charter, page 13, section 3.15.3. number 2.
Yeah, 315.3, number 2, planning board initiative. We always have the initiative for the ordinances we're responsible for. Now, we can't do anything with the dog ordinance or other things like that, but what we have the initiative, the responsibility.
We have the initiative, but we can't, I don't think, we can't initialize a public hearing because it has to go through the ordinance review committee. They have to get 75 signatures.
Right. But if we see that something in the ordinance, because we deal with it regularly,
Right, we
needs
could,
to be adjusted, revised, modified,
right,
we get the initiative with our comprehensive plan and the charter.
Mhm.
We go through all the paperwork, get it right, and then we go, here you go, ordinance review committee.
mhm,
They look at it, they say, this is terrible, we don't like it, or we want the public to hear about it, go out, see if we get the signatures, but we always have the right and the responsibility. If we're seeing something that needs to be removed, amended, or added, it's our responsibility.
but you see in number 3, if the ordinance review committee initiates a change, it does not say in there that the planning board has the right to vote on it.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
Now, whether they seek our guidance is up to them.
So we can initiate it, but it still goes to the ordinance review
Right.
committee.
Right.
But we
So,
can initiate it.
so that, but this public hearing,
Yeah, this is if we initiate something based on somebody that's before the planning board. So it's using this applicants notifying the butters, which
Right.
wouldn't make sense because even if we tried to change the ordinance to satisfy this applicant, it takes like 2 years to change the ordinance. So
Right.
their application would be moot.
But on the other hand, my comment about when you have a public hearing before is better than after. At least you have the input to deal with,
Mhm.
you know?
right,
I understand what Cecile's saying.
I do too.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying, should we keep this in here?
I think we should keep it, yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
all right.
Never give up any of your rights.
Right.
No matter how weak.
The contract- contract's on one.
no matter how split it matters.
Never
And then
concede,
besides
right?
that, then we have
Yeah.
to change the charter and the comprehensive plan. And this-
So the initiative to have a public hearing falls on the planning board and not the select board and not the ordinance review.
Well, ordinance review is gonna probably have public hearings also. But if we have something that we need to bring forward as a possible change, we should have the public hearings for the public input so that we pass on as much as we can to the ordinance review.
Mhm.
And then they can enhance their activity with that
Okay,
to move forward.
If we can iron out the public's concerns before it ever gets to them,
Hmm.
they basically have everything presented to them. Hopefully, we've done our job correctly. We present them a clean slate that goes, wait a minute, everything's done. This is a complete packet.
Mhm.
Let's get this before the public
right.
for the signatures to go to the voters.
Right. However, I mean, to take, for example, the last article that we had to vote on about that they did make changes to about the dwelling units, accessory dwelling units,
Mhm.
whatever. Did we hold a public hearing on that?
They never consulted us whether they did. I don't remember.
That should have come back to the planning board. Well, I think
I
what you're
wouldn't-
saying is, after they do their due diligence about reviewing, they never came back to the planning board for our approval
for our input.
Or input even.
And just like I said it before, I'll say it again. They took out the contract zoning, the public voted on it, and we have nothing to replace it. So hypothetically, Elon Musk comes in, he buys a wonderful piece of property on 111, wants to do a large commercial development that'll bring in 300 jobs, and he'll build nice elderly housing and all this. We cannot allow it. He's gonna do it at his own expense. It's gonna bring the taxpayers, the town, $200 million a year in revenue. We cannot do it. We have no authority.
Yeah, that was my thought in the whole process too. is
So,
They took something, but they didn't
They
make
didn't.
other avenues, you know.
and there was a very
But-
specific reason why there was contract zoning put in, because
There was a lot of misunderstanding about what needed to be done with everything. And I think that's why it fell through the cracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then coming back to the process of how it got to be an article, to vote on, it did not come back to the planning board for
Right.
our approval
or
or for us to hold a public hearing and get input. I mean,
a joint
we had
meeting.
provided information on contract zoning way before that. That was,
Uh,
never got past the select board.
I think in certain things, particularly when it comes to the zoning ordinances, the ordinance we're responsible for, I think joint meetings would be very beneficial for both units.
So what do we do about this number 4? Do we leave it?
I think we leave it.
Change number 4 to number 3.
Right,
Or
number
number
3's
5 to
going
number
away.
4.
Right.
So,
See, notifying, we would never notify, would we notify the ZBA of public hearing about zoning amendments from the planning board's point of view? Notify abutters? Yeah, I don't think that.
I
What-
notified
who-
the
Who would be the
ZBA
abutters?
about the public hearing that we're having on the subdivision.
yeah, that's one of our requirements, is that we notify the select board, the town manager, anyone who may have any interest.
I think if you think it's an issue with the ordinance review committee, I would suggest that you would contact the chairman of the ordinance review committee and say, we'd like to be consulted on this. Is there something we can work out? I think that would be the least disruptive way to proceed with something like that.
Yeah, and remember that Don was the representative. I mean, he used to go to
The
those.
liaison.
The liaison. And then when he left, he had asked if someone else would fill in. I did send a request into the town manager asking if they, I said I'd be willing to participate in that, but never got an answer, so.
I'll entertain a motion that we elect Cecile as the liaison officer with the ordinance review committee. Whether they accept it or not,
Yeah.
It's in their
And that-
was that a second?
Yeah.
Any discussion on Cecile being the
Sorry,
liaison?
I missed it.
Cecile? I made a motion that we elect Cecile as a liaison officer for the ordinance review committee. Bill Single seconded it. We're in the discussion phase. Kevin, you're smiling?
Okay.
No? Cheshire cat.
Carmen's-
No more discussion. All in favor, Cecile be the liaison officer? Is she volunteered?
Is that, but see, that's not our decision. It's the town manager who makes that decision. So it's,
But anybody is welcome to go to those meetings.
Right, but this way you can be the official voice of us. Now, we could elect me, but if I'm at another meeting during the ordinance review committee meetings all the time and can't make it, there's no point in me being the liaison
So
officer.
I think the proper procedure then, Julie, would be to let Lindsay know that what we have done, not to usurp anything from her, but we just want somebody to be part of those meetings so we can stay up to date.
Because we had Don, and Don was doing a fine job. Sadly, Don is no longer with us. We miss you, Don.
He's
Yes, we
relaxing.
do.
He's relaxing.
He's having an adult beverage,
I'm sure he is.
laughing at us, going, ha ha, suckers.
I think he's swearing at the snow, to be honest with you.
Well, you got that nice snowball.
It doesn't matter.
Any other revisions, nitpicks? I think any place that it says him, herself, goes to themselves. It's kind of logical. Where did my other,
That's all I found.
And you have your mission statement, which Joe redid very nicely.
yeah, and I
Yes.
thought I had another one here.
And I,
You do have your administrative policy, but you should do your mission statement.
On page 5, Article 11, executive session. Last sentence. No vote shall be taken. Executive session. I believe it should be in the executive session. The being specific to that.
Where's that?
Page 5, Article 10, executive sessions. Last sentence.
Okay,
Currently, it says no vote shall be taken in executive session. In the executive session makes it specific to the executive session taking place at that time.
Mhm.
Make sense? So we change to in the executive session. I actually do look at this stuff. Planning board meeting opening minutes. I noticed that we're one of the few boards, committees that doesn't have any time for public remarks. Now, I know we all go by a prepared agenda, and I know we have so many people visiting us and sitting in the audience, but I think it might be appropriate that we allow that if there's a public person that has something that they want to voice to us, that they go, oh, wait a minute, I just found out about this, or I want to think about this before I act. That we should allow public remarks.
We have in the past, like, with the,
Yeah, but they're not, it's not officially,
right.
Yeah, don't open a big can of worms. Limit it 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And limit it to how many topics?
each resident will have 5 minutes to present one topic to the board. I agree on the limit, because we don't want to go into 30 different issues that they have or may have.
Well, it's not only that, because I know other planning boards have, not just planning boards, but other administrative
Bodies.
offices, where you get public comment without a limitation on time. And 3 hours later, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm going home and they haven't even started the meeting.
Exactly, that's why I was saying 5 minutes to present a topic, a being singular.
I think we should look at the zoning ordinance, because there are some rules about the planning board meeting. And I think that we're not supposed to take public input as a rule, but it can be allowed, provided that we vote on, the chair accepts it, and we have to vote on allowing the comment. I believe that's what it says.
Because we also state that, the agenda can change at any time.
Yes.
I like getting the voice of the
What
people.
was that you said? What was that the,
That's in the zoning ordinance about how a meeting is,
And I think we discussed the public comment when we went through this, when Dawn wrote all this up.
administration. Let's see. Planning board staff review committee site plan review. Powers and duties. Where's the talk about that? Administration.
Page 24.
Page 28.
And we generally operate under loose Robert's Rules of Order in general meeting guidelines.
It's in the charter, but meetings, oops. Hearings.
Administrative policy. I don't think we're specifically forbidden to.
Look at Article 8 on the zoning ordinance.
Authority, page 28.
In the zoning ordinance?
Zoning ordinance Article 8 talks about planning board.
Right.
And it says staff review of committee site plan review,
Right.
section 8.
Staff review committee, is that what you're looking at?
Mm-hmm.
That's outside of our purview, though. That is something that Rebecca would normally handle.
Says planning board and staff
And staff,
review.
yeah, the process is the same.
Yeah. Again, I mean, it makes some interesting comments when you read it. Especially 821A, I think is very interesting.
Oh,
821A.
The planning board may modify or waive any of the following applicant submission requirements if it is determined that due to the size and nature of the project or circumstances of the site, such requirements plural, would not be applicable or would place an unnecessary burden upon the applicant and would not affect or conflict with the purpose of this ordinance.
That's a pretty interesting statement.
It does give us broad authority, which should be used in temperance and moderation. Again, that gives us on the, like, the 16 standard, it's not applicable, so we don't need to require it. Why do we need a subsurface waste disposal if it's gonna be a vacant lot or there's gonna be no chance of disposal on it? Yes.
So if you think there's other things we should look at this, we ought to put this off till the next meeting to give everybody time to research what they need so that we have all the information.
Yeah, we can consider that. The consideration is whether we want to have a specific allocation of time during our meeting to allow public comment or public input.
Yeah.
And,
So if we can check the ordinances and to see,
say Mr. Smith is looking to have a garage or whatever, that may fall under, so instead of having to go to Rebecca and then go in through a preliminary application, if he comes up and says, hey, I'm thinking about this, what do I need to do? I think that's part of our job, is to give insight.
Well,
Yeah, we do that. We
Yeah.
allow them to come in a
But,
pre-application.
I think that, what we're talking about would give the person the opportunity to say, geez, this just came up, there's a meeting tomorrow, can I go to the meeting and bring it up?
Exactly.
Okay, just something short to get an answer on. That would give them the opportunity, instead of having to submit to you to get on the agenda for another meeting, et cetera. Public input should be open to public input. But, I'm not sure what the town wants to do with that right now. If we have any insight as to what they want to do or don't want us to do. But I mean, again, I think if we're going to allow it, we have to limit it.
I'm 100% agree. Makes it 5 minutes, one topic.
What do you think, Rebecca?
I think you are gonna end up with people asking you code questions.
And we
Yeah.
just say,
And then
that is beyond our purview, please refer to yourself to Code Enforcement Office.
During office hours.
Fair enough.
Well, I think that we
Of
ended up
course.
with that when we had the inquiry form, when we had no code officer.
Yeah.
I had people filling out that form
Mhm.
to help me out. They came in and they were asking code questions, which was great because some people did end up going to you and some did not.
Yeah.
But as soon as we got Rebecca, we stopped it because there were still a few coming in here with that didn't need to, and it was taking up your time when they didn't need to, and they just needed to go to her.
I just want to help the public, that's all.
Oh, I know, and it just,
Well,
we were funneling people
Right.
one way when they needed to go the other, and,
Because a lot of times, the people attending a planning board meeting have an affiliation or whatever. I mean, they're interested in one item on our agenda. And most of the time, it would be something that would be brought up at the public hearing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if,
well,
I'm not sure if we would want to allow,
let's think about it till
Yeah.
at least the next meeting, and
and the
Right.
next meeting, we have the public hearing, and, so
Okay.
yeah.
people will be here.
It was just something I've been thinking about, and I finally remembered to bring it up, Cody.
Yep.
Okay,
Next,
next.
what do we get to shoot you down for next?
That wasn't shot down, that was good discussion.
It was a good discussion.
So the bylaws can be amended, right? I mean, you can make those corrections, we can make those corrections, and that'll be it.
We can make them changes.
All right, I'll entertain a motion that we adopt the revisions to the planning board bylaws as presented.
And move.
We got a motion, do we have a second?
second.
We got a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Amended bylaws approved. Mission statement. Where is the mission statement? I've got the mission statement someplace.
It's
So
right
one
there,
page deal.
it's right there.
I do print it off. I just got so much paperwork here.
Saying,
This is administrative policy. There's my bylaws from 2023. All right. Open up.
one copy,
You got one handy? I've got to go in
or two
online.
or three.
I know you gave me one,
Of course I did, it was in your book.
actually. All right. Everyone have a chance to review
Yeah.
mission statement? Any revisions, modifications, or changes they're looking to see?
Nope.
I'll entertain a motion that we adopt the Lyman Planning Board mission statement for 2025 as presented. All in
Second.
favor? Motion by Tim, second by Cecile. Any discussion? All in favor? Mission statement approved, February 2025. Administrative policies, Lyman Planning Board Administrative Policies, number 1, Notice of Planning Board Events Documents and Amendment Process.
Administrative policies. That's this one, okay, yeah. Maybe that's. what I
Julie.
saw.
Where do the posting requirements come from? State law? Do you know? I just,
The posting requirements, I think Dawn came up with out of the ordinances or state laws of,
In Maine
like
Municipal
the
Handbook.
manual,
Yes.
yep, for the planning boards.
Yeah, he did a lot of work to unify them
Yeah.
cohesively.
And then he kind of tweaked them as they were needed, like notifying the butters 20 days in advance because of the illness of the postal service.
so where does that reside now? Those posting requirements? Because this is saying it should be put in here. My question is, if it already exists somewhere that tells us what to do, why should we make it redundant?
The zoning ordinance does have posting requirements.
So we really don't need to put it in here.
This
Or
he
do we?
made
I
up.
think this was, so it would be easier for us to,
It was a quick reference.
yeah.
I'm
but-
fine either way. I just,
Yeah, I think he did this up for when he was not here to tell us what to do, when, and how to do it. Which I'm forever grateful for.
See, I'm not sure if the ordinance, I think the intention was to, I know we made the extension 20 days instead of 10, because I did have a case where it,
Yes.
about it didn't get notified.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if those were supposed to carry, maybe our intent was to have those increased days change in the ordinance. I don't know if it ever made it there. But it does say, I don't know if the ordinance says 20 days now instead of 10, it probably does.
I was looking real quick and I just couldn't find it.
You couldn't find
I
it,
just,
yeah.
yeah, but I was just
I
scanning
would
it.
be surprised if it's the same, because I don't think we were able to get any of those. Those were some of the changes that the planning board had recommended
Yeah.
to be made in the zoning ordinance. They weren't big deal changes, but things like that. Changing those. And here on his chat too, public hearing on contract zoning, see that needs to be removed too, on that grid.
I mean, we're still looking, like on page 2, number 4B. Contract zoning, we gotta
Yeah,
get rid of that one,
get rid
number
of that one
3, number B. But we're still saying there's gotta be, town hall, library, and then published notice twice in a newspaper of general circulation.
We're only using the reporter. The Portland Press Herald is so expensive, and who even gets it anymore?
Right?
One of the things, I'd like to see if we can't get it posted on the town website and on the town social media.
We have it
It
on the
does.
town website.
Hmm.
It's posted in the library. I email it to the librarian, and she replies to me that it is put up. I put it on the boards.
What I'm saying is it's not in our administrative policy. It's general practice, which is great, but it should be a policy, administrative policy. Like notice of public hearing. It is must notify a butter, so on, so newspaper and then town hall and town website. Also the social media, town Facebook page or whatever else we have on there.
We have a town Facebook page.
Yep.
We do?
Yeah, Lindsay posts that all the time.
Again, the more information we put out, the better informed the public is.
Mhm.
See if we can't get it. I don't know,
I know
Our
that.
meetings and stuff get posted on the town sign. What about our site walks? Are those posted on the town sign?
I don't know if the sidewalks do, I know the public hearings do.
It'd be nice if we could get a site walk.
Hmm.
Basically, any public meeting and gathering that we have, I'd like to see published.
I
As
know
many-
that town of the Lyman happenings, whatever the Facebook page is, I've been seeing the planning board stuff posted
Yeah,
on
and I
that.
think it's
Yes,
great, but
okay.
it's not official by the town.
Oh, I know, but.
Yeah, someone forwards it usually.
Yeah.
Michelle,
Yeah.
I'm banned from that, so.
well, that's understandable.
It was 6 months, that was 3 years ago. It was a 6 months ban, so.
Completely understandable.
You're not the only one. I think this is pretty long.
I just lurk, I don't comment because I figure as a town representative, they're gonna look at and say, you're on the planning board. I don't speak for the planning board on there, so I just don't speak at all.
I got banned for free speech. It was said in the meeting here, and they banned me from Facebook.
You know, I look for feedback from the public on those pages. What's the hubbub about? Does it pertain to us? Bring it here and address it, because that's what the public's concerned about. But I don't comment because I don't want to be misrepresented or mistaken for representing the board or the municipality.
I scroll on by.
Yeah, same here. I just look, I never post.
You lurk.
Just a creeper.
Page 4 has another paragraph about contract zoning too, number 3. Let me catch that one.
Yeah, the section 4A has contract zoning in it.
Accept contract zone. So let's, public hearing, let's scratch out accept contract zone out of that. Leave subdivisions and land zoning ordinance.
Yeah.
Okay. This is good.
So it's got the list of time reference for public hearings. But notice of public meetings says bylaws to be revised to include posting requirements, but that's under section 4 for public hearings. Notice of site walks.
Someplace I saw that gave wide perspective that basically says anytime we have any acting officially, it's considered a hearing or meeting or sidewalk is to be posted.
Yeah.
I do.
So I don't think we need to include it because the general verbiage says it's gotta be posted. Anytime we do anything, it's public, officially do anything public, public's gotta know about it. So does that cover the 2 and 3 bylaws to be revised to include posting requirements? I believe it's already there. I could be wrong, could be wrong.
And those to be revised. Were they revised? They probably were revised, right?
Well, they're listed under section 4.
Posting. Oh, I think it's an attachment. Attachment 3 is the bylaws to be revised to include posting requirements.
Finding a space.
Where we looking? Yeah. So the bylaws have,
So Julie, the couple minor changes there, that's something we could have for the next meeting, print it out. So why don't we table this till the next meeting, so we get the printed copy and then vote on it?
Is that a motion?
Sure.
Is that for this administrative policy?
Yeah, administrative. Should be for that and the, what was the last thing we were on?
The last thing was mission statement,
Yeah. No, not the, before that,
the bylaws.
the
the
bylaw.
bylaws.
The bylaws and the administrative policy both.
Well, we did vote to accept them
Oh, okay, then we're all set.
because we made minor tweaking revisions,
No,
commentary.
We're good. We're
You
good.
good on the mission, on the bylaws?
And I think
You're right.
this. And then, administrative policy, was that written after the bylaws? Because they, look, the bylaws do have the, it says bylaws to be revised to include posting requirements, but they're in here. See, public meetings and sidewalks, publish notice 1 week in advance.
So I
So,
think he wrote it at the same time, but wasn't sure if it would be agreed upon at the time. And
okay,
was leaving it open for adjustments.
okay. So this could be updated with the new date. The bylaws, and then bylaws to be revised can be removed.
Remove mention of the contract zoning.
Yeah.
Which is number 4, line A, bracket, except contract zoning. Or remove contract zoning, leave except, which would leave subdivisions and Platinum zoning ordinance amendments. Then remove the entirety of paragraph B. Then we move to notification requirements. We remove that whole section under public hearings on contract zoning, site plan review application. All that is removed. We want to table the remainder of this until our next meeting.
Page 4, yeah.
Oh, page 4. I missed something on page 4.
Number 3,
Public hearing contract zone 2, and remove number 3.
on page
And then
Okay.
number everything accordingly.
And
Right.
number accordingly. Do we still want to hold this over?
I'll
Oh.
revise
Make the
it.
change and we'll
Revive.
approve it next time. Okay.
Oh, and on number 4, actually remove, on page 4, number 2, on publication, published notice once in PPH, which is Portland Press Herald. Remove all references to the Portland Press Herald throughout the document,
Yep.
or PPH, as it is abbreviated.
Yeah,
I'm glad you clarified that. PPH, I wasn't quite sure.
I would not have known that.
No, I wouldn't either.
Well, yeah, it's in a couple of places. Right. Search for PPH.
And number
Plentiful personal hygiene.
2 and
Yeah.
number 4 say.
Oh, so you have a more recent copy. Huh. So Kevin, Kevin has a more recent copy. There's, no, you're no longer using PPH per town and treasurer.
That's what she sent us today in the email.
Oh, okay.
She's like, I knew I forgot to open something.
Is it in here maybe?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, that's right.
It's in the
Yeah.
book.
all right.
All right, so all references to PPH, Portland Press Herald.
All right. So I gotta mark this up.
2 weeks. Okay, okay. also in like two town website, BB, what's BB?
Bulletin board.
Bulletin board, sign, and social media.
Where are you?
Page 4, number 1. And I think that should be added to 2, 4. That's stating where planning board best practice to help ensure consistent notification of events incorporated in as an appendix to planning board bylaws, which would go in here as an appendix. So every time, every place that we have to do notifications, it's town website, bulletin board, sign, and social media.
Yep.
That way we diminish the possibility of someone saying, I wasn't notified. I didn't see the
You're
notification.
still gonna get that.
Oh, we're gonna get
That's what you
it.
do.
Without a
Jeez.
doubt, it's gonna happen. We're gonna get it. But we're trying. So do we still want to table administrative policy till next month? Or next
I'd
meeting?
like to be able to look at it.
Yes.
I think you're right. I think that we should also relook at the bylaws as well as the mission statement. Because we've thrown out a bunch of things today. We've done a lot of work on it. But we can look further. So I'm just gonna table it, discussion till next meeting. Wonderful.
Good idea.
Thank you for that
I
suggestion.
should have thought of that.
You did, and you pushed it and you inspired.
I like to think about things.
Yes, it's good. Okay. Okay, that's first quarter, second quarter. I didn't get minutes to sign.
Somebody was a little busy.
Yes, I apologize.
No minutes?
No minutes for the last meeting.
Well, then we'll table the approval of the minutes of the last meeting to the next meeting.
But I did your first and second quarter.
Yes, that's what I'm looking
Tell
at.
the board.
Right.
So the minutes are tabled. Okay.
Actually, they were pretty much done. That's about you.
Okay, we'll do the Lyman Planning Board quarterly report. First quarter fiscal year 24-25. Review the planning board mission statements, Encompass Joy LLC, Salem Capital Group, site plan review application workshop, Seth Drow. Any questions, comments, queries on the first quarter fiscal year 24-25? I'll entertain a motion that we approve them.
So moved.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Who seconded?
Bill.
Speak up.
Sorry. I'm not finding the second quarter.
You didn't get it?
Not that I can find. Sorry.
Okay, Lyman Planning Board quarterly report. Second quarter fiscal year 24-25. We had the Salem Capital Group, which was Dan Cook on Middle Road, Carlisle Brooks Estate, which is Walker Road, Carlisle Brook,
Yeah, sure.
Harper Residential Subdivision. Any comments, changes, minutes, picks?
Nope. it's
I'll
good.
make a motion that we approve the second quarter fiscal year 24-25.
All right,
Do I have a second?
second.
We got a second. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed?
Aye.
Approved. All right. Minutes, got that, got this, got that. All right.
You have 2 sidewalks on Saturday,
2 sidewalks, 10 and 10:30.
10 and 10:30.
Yep, we have the site walk at 135 Shore Road. And then at 10:30, we have the site walk at 549 Clarkswoods Road. All the public is welcome. And no, we will not bring coffee or hot chocolate.
The camera.
And we got our official photographer who does a wonderful job. All right, under old business, nothing new on Carlisle Brooks Estate.
Nope.
I'm always mispronouncing his name. Daniel Marcoy? Marquardt. That is when we have the site walk. And after that, then we will plan for the public hearing. Jenna Salvos, 549 Clarkswoods Road. We are having the site walk on Saturday. They are looking for home daycare and existing converted garage. Anything new on Harper Residential Subdivision?
We're having the public hearing next meeting.
So are we doing a site walk for the 135 Shore Road?
Yes.
Yes.
That's at 10 o'clock.
To me, it's a waste of time. Not gonna see anything.
Snow.
I know, but we need to be able to see the underlying stuff. Concrete, walkways. Do we have any idea on his deadline that's looming?
I don't.
You
I
suggested,
I'm suggesting that we should hold off till the snow goes to look at that. Because we're not gonna be able to see anything.
I agree.
I mean, that's why I said, what's his deadline, you know, is he looking at something that, you know, he's having a big wedding there on June 1st?
I don't know.
Or maybe it's August 1st, or maybe it's September or whatever. I mean, we can go do the site walk, but I mean, what are we gonna see?
Can you guarantee that it's cleared?
No. There is supposed to be,
We need to see the
Six.
shoreline, right? Do we need to see the shoreline?
Well, we need to see the shoreline, we need to see the sidewalk that's there, the concrete one that goes down to the pond. You know, we need to see his building that's down by the pond. We need to see where the house sits in relation. I mean, there's a lot to see, and with the snow on the ground, we're not gonna be able to see.
I will call Tom tomorrow
yeah, because we're,
and see what I can find out.
Yeah, if I get his opinion on that.
because if he's putting posts in the ground, unless he's got a serious auger or someone who knows how to operate a postal digger, they're not gonna do that until spring.
Well, I agree, but what I'm saying is, you know, is there something that's a big event that's gonna happen and that he's trying to meet a deadline that we might not wanna screw up for him or whatever, but if not, maybe he would be very amicable to saying, you know, let's see if we can reschedule the end of March or sometime in April so we can see.
Is it in your bylaws that you have a time frame?
Right, there's supposed to be a spread of time, and I think it's
One of the-
45 days.
One of the things is the planning board may require a site walk. We're not required to. We typically do as a business practice, a standard operating procedure.
Well,
But this is shoreline.
yeah, but we're looking at a request for something that we have to make sure is an appropriate request if there's any chance of agreeing to it.
Exactly.
And if we can't see everything, it makes it hard to make a decision.
An informed decision.
Yeah,
Does attachment 3, number 5 in your bylaws
In the bylaws.
factor in? I could be misunderstanding it. I just-
Which number?
Attachment 3, number 5.
attachment 3.
Or attachment.
Or maybe those are just minimum time frames, not maximum.
Minimum time between planning board vote for a site plan review application is to complete or acceptance of the subdivision, of a subdivision preliminary, that's subdivision. And
That's just a minimum, not a maximum.
Again, I mean, I think it's an important enough thing that we able to see the actual ground and the structures that are there in relationship to the request.
and this is actually one of the first times that we've had something happen during the winter where we've had this much snow.
Oh, this is more normal, what we're getting
Yeah.
for snow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a couple of years.
It's been a couple, absolutely.
Yeah,
I will call Tom.
yeah, and if he still wants it, we'll hold it.
But you
But-
won't be able to see what's there.
We may not be able to make any,
It wasn't cleared out very well last.
it wasn't
No.
cleared out.
Yeah, and he did note, because I think you asked him about the survey stakes. He said that the survey can get out there for like months.
Hmm.
So maybe he could get the surveyor out there.
Yeah, so,
They have
Yeah.
just snowed the day
It hasn't been
before,
surveyed
the
yet?
last time.
yeah, that was one of the key things is we needed to know where the shoreline was.
Yep.
Where this deck was expected to extend to.
What the actual
Yeah.
setback is.
Yep.
What the structures that are in violation of the code are that he wants to remove, so that we can make an informed decision.
I agree.
I'm on it
Thank you.
tomorrow.
No, appreciate it. It's not supposed to snow Saturday.
He said it was several weeks before the surveyor would be available to go out.
Mhm.
So, I don't know if it's been.
Surveyors are quite busy.
Oh, God, yeah.
I don't think when I
Well-
call him tomorrow, he'll be in Bermuda.
Oh, yeah?
I won't be hearing the beach noises in the background. He'll tell me it's 86 degrees like last time. You don't want to know what I said to him.
Oh, please do. Microphones off.
So,
Lights off. Better heard.
Yeah, I think it's a smart idea to postpone it, especially because he was supposed to get a surveyor in there. Just couldn't, weather change, understandable conditions, weather. Yeah, if we can't see where the shoreline is, where the setbacks are and where the proposed deck is gonna be, as well as the encroachments of the existing structures. You know, yeah, it's nice and fine to say that that pump house is encroaching on the other land. It's fine. How much so?
Okay.
So you'll email us or,
Shoot the group in.
a lot faster than the postal service.
Next meeting. public
Agenda,
hearing.
public hearing.
on the 5th.
Next meeting is on March
March
5th. We have public hearing for Harper subdivision. Anything else?
Well, you'll review whatever sidewalk you might do on Saturday.
So we'll review definitely Jenna Salvo's 549 Clarkswood Road, map 5, lot 1. Potentially Dan Marquardt, 135 Shore Road, map 17, lot 57. Represented by Tom LaChance to discuss best practice, practical location for deck within shoreline. Dungan will come later. Then continue with the bylaws, mission statement, and administrative policy review. Anything else you can think of?
Anything else we can throw at you?
That's why we get paid the big buck. And we
Same.
split it. Okay.
Same.
Is that it?
I was gonna say, hearing nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
So moved. And we got a second,
Second.
and a third, and a fourth, and a fifth. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Closed.
Ta-da.
And that goes there, that goes there. Two things that we signed. Agenda. Mission statement. That. No, I think it was smart to postpone. It gives